going to be about free thinkers, and how come you haven't really heard of black free thinkers, and how come they haven't been involved in terms of civil rights movements? How come you never heard of any black atheists and getting involved in the civil rights movement? When you look back at the civil rights movement, you always see it being led by pastors. I've already touched on this subject in the past, but it never has been the sole topic of any of my videos. And this time it will be. It is what we're going to be talking about during this video. First off, you should know that the civil rights movement, contrary to popular opinion, was in fact started by free thinkers. Majority of these free thinkers were white free thinkers. The simple fact being is that even during this time you did not have that many black free thinkers, and I already made a video about why there aren't really that many black atheists in the first place to explain this. But it was definitely true for those times, even then. And so, for those reasons, obviously the majority of your free thinkers would have been white people. And so, obviously the white free thinker is not bound by religion and able to really question things and be skeptical about things. Looked upon the treatment of black people and was very, very appalled by it. They did not like it at all. And they sought out to change it, and they encouraged black people to change this, and for other white people who was not racist to change it, for white people who was racist to end racism, to end their take on race, and basically they started up the civil rights movement. Now, the problem is these people were not religious. Now remember I told you that God, that black people, it went to God for everything. The church was everything for them. The community, their way of life is everything. So if you're trying to confront someone who is living a life like this, and you're trying to do it from a non-religious perspective, you're not going to be that successful. So you can imagine the problem that the free thinkers had when they started to confront black people on this subject. So the only way ultimately that the free thinkers were going to be successful in getting this movement started was to get the black leaders involved. And who were the black leaders? Well, who did the black people go to for advice? The pastors, the black pastors. And so naturally they did have to become involved in this movement, and they took over the movement, which was not necessarily a negative thing to the free thinkers. It's not necessarily something that the free thinkers did not want to happen. You have to understand that the black preachers obviously did not initially want to see the civil rights movements. They did not want to see those start up. They knew that there would be violent aspects of it, and they did not want to see any of this happen. But they knew also that black people were getting tired and restless with this whole thing about God is going to carry you through. So in order to keep some order, some control, and at the same, and obviously the faith in God, which black people were still very much leaning to, and still get something done, you know, the black free thinkers, you know, they basically handed this thing over to the pastors, and they really didn't have a choice but to take it. Did the black free thinkers then, not the black free, but the free thinkers in general, did they then get out of the civil rights movement? Well, no. They were just shadowed. They became a shadow compared to the black preachers who were leading the movement and got all the publicity. But they never went away. They continued to do all of the hard work. In fact, you can be said that some of the major achievements made were actually things done behind the scenes in large effort because of the free thinkers. So you have them to thank as well for the success of the civil rights movement. There have been black free thinkers in the past. This may wind up going into a two-part video but I hope not. But I mean, if it do, it do. But there have been black free thinkers in the past. Now, what you have to understand though is that it was not the word atheist. It existed, but the concept of it could not really be applied to anyone during that particular time, mainly because of the consequences and because you were dealing with a time where to say that you didn't have any religious belief was to say that you didn't have any morals, any spiritual background, anything of that sort, and that was just simply not possible. So that's why it was very difficult during this time to say that you were an atheist. But what I'm getting at is that W.E. Du Bois, he was a free thinker. He probably, well, I ain't gonna say probably, he was an atheist. But you would never hear him really call himself an atheist. And he wanted to obviously help black people, but you notice that he never really would sharply attack black people because of their religion. He obviously mentioned this. He obviously did not like religion and frowned upon black people using Christianity and using religion as a crutch. At the same time, you didn't really see that become his front running, because he realized that he was not going to convince black people to change by attacking their religion, that one ballot at a time kind of thing. And so there were a lot of black free thinkers in the past. They have been there, and you probably know a lot of them. The problem is that knowing them is not going to do you any good, because you really won't be able to recognize them as a free thinker because of basically how we were taught. Most people will not see W.E. Du Bois as a free thinker, but in fact he was. So these people did exist. The problem is that we don't know how to recognize them. That is the main problem. That being said, another problem that you have to realize is that a lot of these people during this particular time coming out from religion also sometimes, because of the consequences of coming out against religion, just kept quiet. So you do have those issues as well. But they are there, they are out there, they were out there, they have always existed. It's just a simple fact that because history is written a certain way and told a certain way, that we don't really have the capabilities, or did not have the capabilities, of really recognizing these people as free thinkers, recognizing black free thinkers when we saw them. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up to try to avoid this entering into 2 videos, but we'll probably touch on this subject again in some future videos. Peace.